Pleasure it is to welcome to the top of the tower a television titan, well known for her time on BBC Breakfast and Steph's Packed Lunch. She co-hosts the Rest Is Money podcast and has now turned her hand, I have to say, with great deft aplomb to writing with her debut novel. It's called Deadline, and it's a thrilling crime story inspired in some ways by your days in breakfast TV and so on. Steph McGovern, welcome to the top of the tower.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Oh, it's lovely to be here because I know you love your books as well, Ryan, so it's an absolute delight to be here.
Well, from one bookworm to another, you love reading and now writing. Congratulations on Deadline.
Thank you.
Why don't we get into the book first and we'll take it from there. So this is we'll pitch it to me. Well,
the elevator pitch.
Give us the pitch for our listeners who haven't read it, and then we'll have fun with it.
Yeah, so Deadline, and it's basically about a reporter who's live on air in the middle of one of the most important interviews of her career. It's, really powerful person that she's interviewing on a massive TV show. In the middle of the interview, she's told in her earpiece that her child and her wife have been kidnapped, and she has to do everything the hijacker is telling her in order to keep them safe. And so she's live on air doing this interview, and this hijacker's telling her what to do, and she's like, what? And it's all about like what, why, how are they doing it? People are watching it at home going, what on earth is going on? And then the people in the gallery, the TV control room, are also like trying to figure out what's going on. And so it's all it comes from my life in Telly, I guess, and loads of things I kind of experienced, and the kind of corruption and lies and things like that you see go on.
For sure. And the live, I think that's what you described so well. It's very hard to explain what it is. I was talking to some people last night and saying, how could you get in front of a microphone and talk like that? Anyway, that's one thing. But live is quite another. Because for people who don't know, like if you do a TV show, if you record it on, say, a Thursday, it's fine because you can make a mistake, they can edit that out, but live, you're on.
Yes.
And you've captured that brilliantly.
But I think I'm better at live.
So am I.
Like if it's pre-recorded, it'll take me 70 times to do it.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And also it's flat.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any of the buzz. Yeah. It's an adrenaline
69th time, you're like, hello everyone.
And you've nothing left. But I think that's what you brought to your book is all that experience, that wealth of experience of sitting in a chair interviewing people or being out broadcasting as a reporter. And the people you meet, the crew, the guys, the cameraman and the people around the city. It's all there. You've accumulated, you've magpied your own life in some way.
Yeah, I totally have. Like a lot of the stories in it, it's fictional, but I take a lot from what's happened in my life. And, one of the most common things that's asked of me, and you probably have had the same in your career, is how do you work with an earpiece? Like how do you talk on telly and interview people while someone's talking to you in your ear?
Sometimes.
Yeah. And so it's like I like breaking the fourth wall and going, this is actually what the reality is like behind the scenes. It's not as like secure and everything else as you might think as well. I'd be on broadcast in the middle of fields on breakfast and someone would rock up and come and chat to me and they'd be like, oh hiya, it's Trevor, I've just been released from prison and I was watching you and you're like, all right Trevor, lovely to see you anyway. Nice. And I think people don't and I just wanted to break all that down and go, look, this is actually quite, not as safe and secure as you think. And what are the dark things that can happen if something goes wrong?
You had a bit of trouble, didn't you, with a stalker situation,
I did,
which we won't make you relive now. But I'm just bringing it up on the basis that would have helped inform your sense of fear, paranoia, worry. And all these things so there's an emotion you can inject into your storytelling as a writer now.
Yes,
tell me about bringing that to the page.
Because that was the thing for me. Like I've seen so many experiences, like growing up in the north of England and then going from like what's class. I'm from Middlesbrough, a place that often gets like criticised and it's always in the headlines for the wrong reasons. So growing up there and then moving into like this media and political bubble, which is just like a different planet in so many ways. Yeah. So I wanted to like reflect some of that, but also like what happens when you go from being nobody to somebody people vaguely recognise. I wouldn't cast myself as mega famous, I'm just vaguely recognised. Most people think I'm Sandra from Accounts or like I teach their kids or something when they see me, but it's just what comes with that. And like the stalker side of things, you get people and it's a pleasure of the job to have people who are invested in you and want to know more about you, and that's a privilege in lots of ways. But sometimes in the minority it can just turn a bit dark and turn a bit creepy.
And you got that.
And I had that. I had a guy who just he totally thought he was in a relationship with me. Like he clearly had like his own mental health issues, and he just was a fantasist and used to just turn up at places all the time. But and I was all right with it, to be honest. And then what kind of changed things for me was when he found out my parents' address and he sent a letter to my dad, and then my dad rang me going, who is this? And, you know, and again, he put all of his information in there. He wasn't hiding away. He was basically, I think, asking to marry me and asking my dad's permission. Yeah. But at that point, I was like, whoa, my parents, you know, are not in the public eye.
That's right.
For them, it's like really strange what I do. So I then thought, I've got to sort this out. And to be fair, like the BBC security team jumped in at that point and
dealt with it.
Yeah.
Once it comes near your family, it's a game change then. Yeah, as you say, they didn't buy in. They didn't sign a contract. So let's not be having that.
Did you sign a contract?
Some people do occasionally.
Do they?
Yeah. The gig economy is alive and well. Yeah. But so when you sat down to write this, who were you channeling any writers that you've loved?
Oh, man, yeah. So I'm a massive Harlen Cobin fan.
Oh, he was here. He was sitting there not too long ago.
I'm going to like rub myself on the seat. That sounds weird. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I just meant like touch it with my hands.
So Harlen Cobin, you're now Harlen Cobin's stalker. That's interesting.
Sorry,
that went full circle, didn't it?
Yeah, I totally have.
So you love Harlen's. That makes sense.
I love his, you'll know this, I love his what if. So he does brilliantly. He'll be in what's an ordinary situation to the people, and then something extraordinary will be happen, like a what if. Like, what if you are in somewhere and you suddenly see a person you thought was dead walk past?
What would you do?
Yeah. And that's what I used to do on broadcasts. So, because I'm a big Harlen Cobin fan, I used to be on broadcast with my team, and in between the bits of being on air, because, you know, breakfast telly is like 3 or 4 hours long, and you'd only be on like every 20 minutes. So, and I might be in a field somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'd like say to my team, right, what would we do if we got hijacked? And they'd be like, what? And then because wherever you are geographically, you have a different team.
Yeah.
So they would all have different reactions based on whatever was going on in their lives. Like Jonesy, who's a character in the book, is based on a real cameraman who I work with called Jonesy, who everywhere we went, he brought his dog Murphy with him. And so,
sorry, is the real guy called Jonesy as well?
He is, yeah. Okay, so I had to get his permission.
I was going to say, not the most subtle...
No, I had to get his permission. It was funny. I rang him and said, Jonesy, I've written this character and basically it's you. Do you mind? And he was like, well, am I fit? And I'm like, Jonesy, it's a book. It's not pictures. And then he said, oh, am I funny then? And I was like, yeah, you are funny. And he read it and he went, I'm funnier than that in real life stuff. So anyway, but everyone reacted differently. Like Jonesy has been in the army and things. So when I said it to him on location, he was like, I'd be with you. Yeah. I'd come and, I'd help. And then another guy who had young kids was like, I'd run. I'm really sorry, guys, but I'd leave you to it and I'd run. And I just
Fight or flight.
Yeah, I liked everyone's different responses.
Stick around for a minute, will you? I've got to play a track. We've got Steph McGovern. She's talking about her brilliant new book. It's called Deadline. More after this. Franz Ferdinand with a little help from Johnny Marr. It's a great song there. I love that. Steph McGovern's our guest. We're talking about her wonderful book, Deadline, and we're talking about, who did you just recommend I should read?
M.W. Craven, brilliant. The Botanist, really good. And Mercy Chair, I've just read that by him too. Really good.
Great. I love to hear that. And I was telling you to read Ragnar Jonasson, who I think you'll really enjoy. But you know from
Icelandic noir.
You know
fantastic.
All that.
Love it.
It's Cecilia Hearn, my compatriot and your friend. She's in London. I met her. She was at a thing last night. I missed her, but she's floating around and she is a fan of yours.
Yeah, so Cecilia is brilliant. I interviewed her when I was doing Pack Lunch because I used to try and get authors on all the time. I'm obsessed with how authors work and how they write and how they come up with the ideas. So she came on, and then we just were mates after that. And then when I was writing the early versions of my book, she read it for me and then gave me some notes and stuff, which was just so generous.
Yeah, very nice person.
Really gorgeous person. I mean, she's a best-selling, however many books she sold, millions.
Yeah.
And got them dramatised, P.S. I love you and all of that.
I love
and
that.
she's just so good. Paper Heart, a new one, is awesome as well.
Lovely. And funny, at an event recently, not Lisa Jewell, we'll talk about her in a moment, but Karen Slaughter was saying that she loves Cecilia. So it's interesting, all the world.
It's very friendly though, that's friendly, what I like. It's not like Telly, is it?
No, that's for sure. But not only is it friendly, it's... all these people that you've described, these great authors, are so nice when you meet them and interview them and to each other. And then once they get behind a computer screen or typewriters, and then I ripped their head off, and then I'm going to kidnap everybody, and then there was a hijack. And it's so funny. It's a parallel universe that you live.
Yeah.
Listen, Steph McGovern, tell me about your dad.
My dad's Irish.
That's more like it.
Yay!
Terra firma.
Eamon McGovern.
Where's Eamon McGovern from?
He's from Monaghan.
Oh, the stony grey soil of Monaghan. Patrick Kavanagh country.
Yes.
And indeed...
Barry McGuigan,
Clonus, County Monaghan. And was he a big influence on... has he been a big influence on you?
Oh, totally. And my dad is brilliant. He's an artist. So I grew up in in a teacher. I think we don't teach artists enough about business skills at school and stuff. So bless him, he's not like made a big living out of it or anything, but he's a teacher by trade. But I grew up in this house of just really wacky art. So like, these sculptures. And I used to the kids who I lived near were all like, oh, we're not going to Steph's house.
With the weird art.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's the stuff that brings colour to the world and difference to the world.
And now it's amazing having a dad who does all that.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, he's dead quirky. Everyone always says to me, he came to like my book event on Monday night and everyone's like, your dad's so smart. He dresses so like quirky and no, I love that.
Otherwise he's a lemming in life.
Yes,
he's
exactly.
Far from
he's definitely not that.
He's no lemming. And has he got a strong Monaghan accent?
No, because he grew up in the end in London. So it was one of those classic stories of me nana fell in love with someone and moved and all that jazz, and then
this city in London is a story of movement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Comings and goings.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And did you have Irish dancing I mentioned earlier on in your life?
So that had nothing to do with my dad, funnily enough. That was because the girl over the road, Sinead Ducey.
Well, there's Sinead is the giveaway there.
Yeah. She was doing it, and I was like, wanted to go along one day. And it was before Irish dancing was trendy.
Before Riverdance, you mean?
Before Riverdance.
Yeah,
exactly that. And I just loved it because it was fun. I loved the rhythm of it. I love the fact you can do it wherever you are, like, in a bar drunk or, on a stage competing. And I didn't do that when I was a kid, drinking and dancing, by the way.
Yeah, I don't believe you for a minute, but I'll take your word for it, maybe, yeah.
And then it became really cool to be able to Irish dance.
Michael Flatley got his hands in it, Gene Butler.
Yeah.
Riverdance emerged because it was the interval act in the Eurovision. Imagine the interval act, and it just went whoomph.
Yeah, and it was a really small world at that point. So loads of my mates who I grew up dancing and competing with ended up in the shows. So
did they?
Yeah, so like the Geordie girls who I grew up with, they all went off and travelled the world with Flatley and had these great experiences. And now we're all back home because obviously we're all like too old for that jazz. Yeah. And just have these great stories to tell of what Irish dancing has given us all.
And you've got a 5-year-old daughter.
I do, yeah.
And how's she doing?
Yeah, she's great.
Have you got books in her hand?
Oh God, yeah, good. Absolutely. Reading in our house is massive, and she wants to Irish dance as well.
But the future's safe.
But it's so political because 3 of my friends are dance teachers, and which one do you take them to?
Yeah. Oh, good luck with that.
Exactly.
I'd rather work in the UN.
Exactly.
Steph McGovern, congratulations on Deadline. It's a humdinger. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
5 years in the making, worth every year. Well done.
Thank you.
I wish you well with it. Thanks for being here.